Metaphysics and Politics, a philosophical exploration of ideological foundations, Part 9, the return to metaphysical extremes, Fascism as nationalist transcendence. Having traversed the materialist arc of our spectrum, from socialism's structured collectivism through anarchism's voluntary decentralization to communism's dialectical utopianism, we now pivot back to the far metaphysical end, where ideologies elevate transcendent constructs to justify hierarchical authority and societal renewal. This return is logically warranted, as the extremes on both sides often emerge in historical dialogue. Materialist revolutions provoke counter-movements that reassert metaphysical order, adapting ancient hierarchical principles to modern crises. Objectively, such dynamics reflect a rational interplay of philosophical worldviews, where atheistic determinism's focus on economic rupture invites responses that locate ultimate reality in immanent yet elevated entities like the nation or cosmic tradition. Fascism, as a relatively modern ideology in our framework, exemplifies this reactive genesis, arising in the early 20th century amid post-World War I turmoil and the specter of Bolshevik influence, yet embedding a distinct metaphysical component that distinguishes it from purely pragmatic authoritarianism. Metaphysically, fascism repudiates the stark materialism of communism by positing the nation-state as a transcendent organic entity, an eternal living organism embodying a collective will to power, influenced by Nietzschean vitalism and Giovanni Gentile's actual idealism. Logically, this foundation reinterprets reality as infused with spiritual depth, where the state transcends individual or material contingencies, serving as the metaphysical absolute that fuses citizens into higher destiny. Unlike theocratic monarchies' explicit divine sanction, fascism secularizes spirituality. It affirms a higher reality, but locates it in the immanent nation, often incorporating mythic or pagan elements, while subordinating organized religion to ideological ends. Rationally, this assumes historical progress arises from national vitality and conflict, countering communism's class-based dialectics with a theological narrative of renewal through struggle. However, it presupposes the nation's inherent superiority, potentially justifying expansionism as an ontological imperative without external transcendent checks. Socially and politically, fascism organizes society as a corporate state, integrating economic sectors under centralized control to eliminate class divisions and promote national efficiency. Authority concentrates in a charismatic leader, supported by a single party enforcing loyalty via propaganda, paramilitary forces, and suppression of dissent. Emphasis on discipline, hierarchy, and martial values permeates education and culture, propagating national myths to foster unity, while imperialist policies assert the state's dynamism. Logically, this structure posits that total mobilization counters decadence from liberal individualism or communist internationalism, assuming organic fusion enhances collective strength. Yet it rationally depends on perpetual mobilization to maintain cohesion, often leading to internal purges or external aggression. Fascism's emergence as a response to communism underscores its logical positioning. In interwar Europe, the threat of proletarian revolution, exemplified by the Russian upheaval, prompted ideologies that co-opted socialist appeals to the masses while redirecting them toward nationalist transcendence, combating egalitarian materialism with hierarchical unity. Objectively, figures like Mussolini, initially a socialist, pivoted to fascism to preempt communist influence, framing it as a third way that preserved order amid economic chaos. This reactive metaphysics provided a rational alternative. By elevating the state as a spiritual entity, it addressed existential voids left by secularization, rallying populations against perceived threats without relying on divine or materialist absolutes alone. Distinguishing fascism from other metaphysical ideologies clarifies its modernist hybridity. Versus theocratic monarchy, its transcendence is nationalist and leader-driven, co-opting religion pragmatically rather than deriving from clerical divine right. Compared to aristocratic imperium, fascism is populist and mass-oriented, critiqued by Evola as too democratic and materialist, lacking pure esoteric elitism. From the materialist end, it opposes communism's class struggle by subsuming individuals into national will, rejecting atheistic determinism for idealized state worship. On the centrist spectrum, it discards secular liberalism's pluralism for totalitarian control. Viewed objectively, fascism's logical merits includes its capacity for rapid societal mobilization, as seen in economic recoveries during early regimes, offering a framework for unity in fragmented eras. Rationally, its metaphysical component addresses human needs for purpose beyond materialism, countering revolutionary threats with transcendent nationalism. Nonetheless, this elevation of the state may foster hubris, leading to ethical inversions or violence, though its adaptability to crises highlights the spectrum's dialectical tensions. This analysis of fascism as a reactive metaphysical extreme prepares us for the spectrum's culminating branch, aristocratic imperium.